Shields up, Ironbreakers, and welcome back to Monster Hunter Wilds. Another day, another weapon overview, and today is the day of the Dual Blades. Now, the Dual Blades is a super fast weapon. It's gotten that really cool move in World and Iceborne where you're basically Captain Levi from Attack on Titan. We're just like spinning on top of the monster. Some people like to call that the Beyblade, whatever. That move is friggin' awesome. I'm hoping that that is one of the moves that makes a comeback. Whether that is going to be the case or not, I do not know. We still have Blade Dance. I'll be curious to see how they're handling Demon Mode. If they're doing something like we had in Rise and Sunbreak, where we had like Super Demon Mode. It wasn't really called Super. I forget what was the name of the new Demon Mode, but it made you move so fast. It was absolutely insane. But you know, we also have a cool armor set in here that appears to be potentially Kongalala. Maybe. We definitely see the hints of pink and stuff in there. You know, we'll see if that's the case or not, but I'll be happy to see the monkey return. It's cool to see monsters returning that are not just wyverns. You know, wyverns are cool. Wyverns are badass, but I want to see more Neopterons, Temnocerons, friggin' apes. Yes, apes? No, they call them beasts. Whatever. But yeah, I'll be happy to see the poop monkey come back and farting on you and whatnot. That's cool. That's some cool stuff. But that's enough for me. Let's go ahead and check out the Dual Blades and see what we got cooking here. A weapon designed for rapid attacks. Enter Demon Mode to boost the damage of your attacks. Archdemon Mode will further boost the damage of some attacks. Use Focus Mode, target a monster's wounds and weak points. Oh, there it is! Okay, so they just quadrupled down on Beyblade. Yep, they're like, oh, we heard you guys. It's funny I talked about the Captain Levi attack because it almost seems like Capcom just went, oh, we heard you guys like this crazy thing we did where you just like spin around the monster. What if like most of your attacks are that? Just spin. Just spin, 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 spin. You're a Beyblade. You're a human Beyblade. Enjoy. Like, I think that actually looks pretty fun. Again, the Dual Blades is not a weapon that I'm like super into because it's just one of those very spammy weapon. I like weapons that have a little bit more meat on the bones. But again, looking at the set, I think the set looks real good. It gives you a little bit of Mad Max vibes almost, which is interesting because the Doshiguma set gives you those same vibes as well, if you think about it. This is just the bone Dual Blades. I'm never a huge fan of like the bone designs. I'm just not into it. I guess it makes sense and it gives you some diversity and whatnot. But bone designs, I'm always like, I don't know. There's some cool ones, but like these are definitely not my favorite ones to look at. I'm just being real, all right? Like, look, you guys got the short end of the stick when it comes to the weapons for Dual Blades. Some people probably like them, but let me know in the comment section down below if you're a Dual Blades main. How do you feel about that? But yeah, I dig the dreads on the helmet because like this is not the character's haircut. If you're new to Monster Hunter, understand that this is likely not the character's haircut. This is a part of the armor. So your character only looks like this when you equip this armor, but do not be worried. Like if you really enjoy this haircut, you will likely be able to use that specific helmet as layered armor on top of whatever other armor you want to use. So at least that's been the case for the last two Monster Hunters, and I don't really see them changing that. I think that layered armor's been very successful for the series. That's not something that they would change. Okay, so we have your basic combo in here. Here is Demon Mode. Now, the thing about Demon Mode, for those who don't know how this works, again, they're not showing us the stamina gauge, so I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work exactly the same. But Demon Mode is basically, so long as you have stamina, you can go into Demon Mode, and then the objective is going to be slash at the monster until you fill up this gauge, and then you can exit Demon Mode, and you enter Archdemon Mode. Now, the interesting thing is, even though it's called Archdemon Mode, if I'm not mistaken, during World and Iceborne at least, because I didn't play Dual Blades almost at all during Rise Sunbreak, but during World and Iceborne, Archdemon mode is just like a lesser version of demon mode, so it's kind of weird that they called it Archdemon mode, because it almost would seem like, oh, so the objective is to get to Archdemon mode. It's like, no, the objective is to hit the monster in demon mode as much as you possibly can, and when you can't, you fall back. It almost should be called a sub-demon mode, because it's not as good. But maybe they changed it on here. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. But yeah, you enter demon mode, and then the more you attack, starts filling up. Actually, it's not... Wait. It's not filling up a gauge this time. Oh, is it spending the gauge by doing Blade Dance? The thing is that I don't recognize the moves of dual blades as much as I do for some of the other weapons. It's just so fast. Okay, that's definitely Blade Dance. So Blade Dance is expending gauge. So you go into demon mode, regular attacks, build gauge, regular demon attacks, build gauge, and then Blade Dance expends the gauge. I don't think that's how it used to work. But yeah, then you have Archdemon mode. I can't tell what's happening with these gauges. So confused. Enter demon mode. Then as you expend... Okay, I think what's happening here is you enter demon mode, you fill up the gauge with your regular attacks, then you unload the gauge with Blade Dance, and then you go into Archdemon mode, and whatever gauge you spent with Blade Dancing, you will have available for Archdemon mode. It seems like, listen, I'm gonna need somebody that's like a dual blades main to see if my logic is logicking here or not. Because again, this is not one of the weapons that I play all that much, but that's the vibe that I'm getting. So like you fill it up with regular attacks in demon mode, and then you spend the demon mode gauge with Blade Dance, or maybe other attacks can do it too, and then you go into Archdemon mode, and I wonder if that means that Archdemon mode this time actually will deal even more damage than demon mode, because that would be interesting. And could there be like some type of timed button presses here? Because like, look at how you're getting these power-ups. Like, you see that? This almost reminds me of Perfect Rush. I think you guys are getting a Perfect Rush-like mechanic almost. Which I think is actually a boon for the weapon. Because it will increase the complexity, but then if they're increasing like the complexity of playing the weapon, they can also afford to increase its damage, because like now it's skill-based, right? Whereas I'm not going to say that dual blades require no skill, but let's face it, in World and Iceborne, you know, it doesn't take as much skill in terms of execution of your attacks. It's more about knowing when you can perform those attacks. That's where the skill comes from. It's like, can I be locked in place right now doing a blade dance? That's kind of like where the real skill was for dual blades, in my opinion. It's like, hey, do I have a big enough opening to really just lay into the monster, and can I commit to this long, lengthy animation? Because the execution is like, oh, it's circle and triangle. Boom, done. Blade dance. Yeah, I think there's going to be timed button inputs that are going to increase your damage. I think that's really cool. I think it brings a new dynamic to the weapon. So, it's a focus strike. The Captain Levi attack is a focus strike. They even say right there, use focus mode, target a monster's wounds and weak points. It targeted it, and it pops off. Boom. I love the way that they did this animation, by the way. I friggin' love animations in Monster Hunter all around, right? It's like, this isn't even a weapon that I'm super excited to play, but you just look at this and it's like, bro, look at this. Whee! Yeet the clutch, not the clutch, but yeet the hook slinger, and then boom. Now this is new, and they're not really giving us a whole lot on whatever the hell this is. Was that a counter? Because of the sound. Like, listen to the sound of it. Sing? Yep, that was a counter. That's a counter of some type that you're doing. Seems to be like a parry. Like, look, it's right as the monster's about to hit with his claw right there. He triggers the counter. Ching. Chops him up. And it seems like the counter enables you to do some type of special shenanigans. Like, I'm going to be real, and a lot of people are not going to like what I'm about to say. This almost reinforces the whole thing that I've been saying about styles. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be like 5 styles, alchemy style, all this nonsense, but maybe like guild style and adept style. It just, like, bro, like, I don't think that this is just a last second dodge. Well, it can be, because like Bo is also doing last second dodges. So it might just be like a last second dodge the same way that shielded weapons get to do last second blocks. It might just be a universal mechanic, and at that point it wouldn't be styles, but it might also just be styles. No, it's like, no, you can just have that be default. It's just weird because we've never seen it before, but that's a good thing. Because like I look at all the other weapons and I look at the perfect guards, right? Does it just mean that every single block can be a perfect guard, Sekiro style? If that's what they're going for, I love that idea, but it almost seems out of place for what you'd usually expect from Monster Hunter. Usually, they don't force players to engage in those types of mechanics with perfect guards and whatnot. They're just like, hey, you want to just have regular guarding? Here's a switch skill that you can do it. But maybe this time around, they're like, no, everybody's got perfect guard. If you don't want to do perfect guard, that's fine. You can still go back to regular blocking, but there's a chance that you might just hit it. They might just do it that way. It just feels a little out of place for what I've come to expect from Monster Hunter, but in a good way for me, at least, because I like that type of thing of being able to do like a perfect parry off the bat. Now, my thing is, if you're doing perfect parries and perfect dodges and all of this stuff, I'm very curious to see how they're going to be handling with block weapons, because, you know, if you do a perfect dodge, like, you don't need a skill to do a perfect dodge. Maybe evade window can make it easier for you to perform perfect dodges or whatever, but the moment you perfect dodge, you've perfect dodged, you're out of the way of the attack. I'm curious to see if I perfect guard, can I still be knocked backwards? Or is it always like, you don't need guard up, you don't need guard, you don't need anything, you just put up the shield? And if you perfect guard, it's like you don't move. Like you're immovable and you get to do your counter, you get to do your thing. I'm very curious if that is going to be the case. Because traditionally, like especially if you look at Rise and Sunbreak, the counters that don't involve blocking will usually have an advantage. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Rurikhan, your bias is showing, it's a gun lance, blah, blah. It's like, okay, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but the reality is, you know, if you look at Yai counter slash, not counter slash, what's it called? A Yai spirit slash, and you compare that to, say, what is the one called, the guarded thing that we do with the gun lance? I forget what the name of it was, but we had that like parry thing that we did with the gun lance. And it's like you compare that to the Yai spirit slash, and it is undeniable that the Yai spirit slash gives you a massive advantage in terms of like offensive capabilities, in terms of raising your gauge, in terms of doing all of these things and getting you out of the way of the attack, whereas the parry block did almost nothing. But yeah, it seems like whenever you get this parry thing off on the dual blades, it also enables you to do, it's almost like you enter, let's say, dodge demon mode, because it just seems like it unlocks a whole new moveset for a little bit. It charges up your blades with blue. This, I don't know what it is. Seems like some type of aerial attack, because it just starts us off in the air. I don't think it's the sneak attack, because we don't get that sound that they always put on sneak attacks. But yeah, I don't know what this particular attack is. That is a really stylish finish right there, though. It looks really cool. Yep. I think dual blade mains are eating good, because like it just seems like it reinforces the things that I usually enjoy whenever I would play dual blades. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about that. Thank you all very much for watching the video. If you guys want to watch some more Monster Hunter Wilds content, do make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, because we are going to Gamescom. We are going to be playing Monster Hunter Wilds there, and I am going to be making some content for it. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.